Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be comparing the graphics between three different RuneScape clients. We are going to be looking at the vanilla client, 117's RuneLite Plugin, and HDOS. Be sure to let me know which one you think is the best in the comments. Now, to do this comparison, we're going to look at 5 locations, and these were selected by my expert team and then passed through a committee and then into my own personal hands. Also, I think they're pretty neat. On the note of clients though, just be careful as well. If you see this video, oh yeah, I gotta download that client, just be careful where you're getting them from, because you don't want to be tricked into a fake link, and these kinds of scams do come up where people try to direct people to an incorrect link towards RuneLite or something like that. So there's lots of sketchy people out there, but be careful. Anyways, let's get into the video. Alright, and the first location that we're going to compare is going to be Falador. Now Falador has gone through a whole heap of changes, especially between these clients. In the HDOS client, it has a lot of darker textures, especially around the ground, and that gives it a more of a grim feel, something a bit more gritty, wherein 117's plugin, I find Falador is very bright, it pops and really benefits from the added shadows and stuff like that. And our number 4 location is going to be Catherby. Catherby is really one of my favorite locations in Old School Runescape. I just like hanging out here and fishing all the time. But that's enough about me, let's talk about the graphical comparisons. Catherby is where I think 117's graphical plugins really stands out. The ocean looks really good and the buildings pop out with the extra shadows and lighting on them. The shadows really show off these really cool, intricate alleyways. The place looks spectacular. In HDOS though, it still looks amazing. It is really a whole step up from the original graphics and looks fantastic. The third location we're going to compare is going to be Zanaris. I like Zanaris as a location for comparison because, well, it's a really wacky creative place. It can be interpreted a variety of different ways, and that's exactly what we see here. HDOS seems to stick closer to the original, whereas 117 takes a more inspirational, I would say maybe be the intro level to Rayman 3, if you remember that game. It is a much darker and grimmer place and lit only by these spooky ethereal mushrooms. It looks really cool in 117 and I like his interpretation. However, I think HDOS takes the cake for this bright, wondrous fairy place, but I do love the style. Which one do you prefer? For our second last comparison, we're going to do a double whammy, a 2 for the price of 1. We're going to look at both Relica and Neatsnot. Neatsnot is really cool because it shows off all the bright and colorful stuff that exists in RuneScape. It is really just stands out and everything just pops with this massive amount of lighting, and it looks brilliant in both clients, especially in 117's with that extra bit of lighting and shadows to really show off how bright the textures are. But even then, in the HDOS client, it looks amazing with all these nicely textured trees that move and jiggle in the wind. Even in the vanilla client, I think this place is beautiful. Relica, on the other hand, stands out as a really unique place because I think it looks ugly in just about every client, except for 117's client. He really nailed the atmospheric fog that really makes Relica look like a grim, dark, hardened place that's made of Vikings and seamen that can travel all around. And for our last and final comparison, we'll be looking at the most iconic place in all of RuneScape. That is Lumbridge. And Lumbridge looks amazing. Between all these clients, I think it just looks fantastic. It always does. What I find really interesting is all the different areas that Lumbridge has to offer. The swamp looks completely different between these clients, with it looking really spooky and grim in HDOS, while still retaining his bright and colorful style in 117's plugin. The basement, where you can access the recipe for disaster bank, looks incredibly spooky and ominous in 117's client. It is incredibly lit as well all around the castle with all these nice little torches that give it this beautiful little glow. However, the texture work and the models around the general castle in general in HDOS looks fantastic and spectacular and really pops and stands out. And there we are. What was your favorite client and what was your favorite location as well? Also, make sure you subscribe and like the video. I'll see you next time.